What a show today. Big news in the presidential race. The big question post RNC, post DNC, was what would happen in the polls. Would Donald Trump's incredible performance on the last night of the Republican convention inspire new voters and new followers and give him an insurmountable lead over Hillary Clinton? Or would that not happen? Typically, there is a convention bump for both candidates. And the most interesting question is whether we will end up after the Trump bump and after the Clinton bump in the exact same place where we started before the two conventions. And the answer is decidedly no. Hillary Clinton has opened up leads in 7 of 8 recent major polls. Before we look at all of the polling data, I'll sort of tell you anecdotally, one of the first or second of these new polls that came out post-convention was a Reuters poll. Republicans saw it. They said, oh, this poll is garbage. It is drastically oversampling Democrats by 10-12% relative to the proportion that they actually represent of the electorate. It had Hillary at +5, and Republicans were going nuts about it for 24 hours until multiple other polls confirmed equal or bigger leads for Hillary Clinton. So let's take a look at the numbers. This is the two-way race. And as you will see, starting with that Reuters poll near the bottom of the screen and going up through an NBC News poll that has Hillary Clinton at +8, one LA Times poll has it at Trump +2, and otherwise, all of the other recent post-convention polls have given Hillary Clinton between a 3 and 9 point lead over Donald Trump nationally. And you will notice the 9-point lead is the most recent poll. That is the CNN ORC poll. The average at the bottom of the screen, the average of recent polls from Real Clear Politics has a 4.4% lead for Hillary Clinton, of course, taking into consideration margins of error for these polls individually, the fact that we are averaging them. What we can say is it appears as though Hillary Clinton is consistently somewhat ahead of Donald Trump. Now, we can speculate about the reasoning for this bump. A bad RNC, Trump insulting a Gold Star military family, a good DNC, whatever. But there are some really interesting numbers to look at within this latest CNN ORC poll. To pick just one poll and look at it a little more closely to see if we can figure out the internal dynamics of what is driving this bump for Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton has made noticeable gains among two important groups. Number one, independents, and number two, Bernie Sanders supporters. Let's talk first about those independent voters. Hillary Clinton has gained over the last week 13 percentage points of support among independent voters, up to 50% of independent voters from only 37% of independent voters supporting her about 1 week ago. And very interestingly, the Bernie Sanders support, 78% support from Bernie Sanders voters prior to the convention, now up to 91% of Bernie Sanders supporters supporting Hillary Clinton after the DNC, again, according to the most recent CNN ORC poll. Now, I want to show you one more set of numbers. What happens, because you might say, well, David, that's all well and good. Hillary Clinton is up by an average of 4.4 against Donald Trump. But what if you include Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, the Green and Libertarian candidates, respectively? Let's take a look, and you will notice no effect. If you look at the Real Clear Politics average for Hillary Clinton, the lead is unchanged when you poll a 4-way poll, including Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, still 4.4%. Now, the difference does tell us something, which is, for example, the Reuters poll, which had Hillary Clinton +5 when it was a two-way race, has Hillary Clinton tied with Trump at 37% apiece. That poll is missing a lot of people by allowing a not sure answer. When you force people to make a choice, you get much better numbers for Hillary Clinton, and that is something that we will continue following. So for those who say that the picture changes drastically when you introduce Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, it doesn't. How does Nate Silver from 538.com summarize where we are today? Pretty simply, saying this is good news for Hillary Clinton, but we still need to wait a few weeks to see if she can sustain her bounce before we can say the race has fundamentally changed. Now, I want to speak now with peace and love to those who are emailing me saying, David, this is over. Hillary Clinton is going to pick up closer and closer to 100% of Bernie Sanders' support as we get closer to November 8th. Donald Trump is going to keep saying insane things, insulting people he shouldn't be insulting. Hillary's going to win in November. It's very clear what is going to happen. That is the type of complacency that loses elections for Democrats, that they should win. We've seen it over and over again. If you say that, you're right about one thing, which is, yeah, there's no sane world in which this should be a remotely close race. And I'm actually going to do a piece later this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Thursday, presenting the case that in any other developed country, Donald Trump would not surpass 20% support. I have data to confirm that for us, but that's not today. Today, what I want to focus in on is this is not a sane world. This is not a sane situation. This is not a sane Republican primary electorate. If you were going to sit back on your lazy boy recliner and watch MSNBC or CNN, or if it's for laughs, maybe Fox News, whatever your preference is, and say, oh, Hillary Clinton's got this in the bag, that's the type of attitude that will have Donald Trump selecting 3 to 4 Supreme Court justices between 2017 and 2021. And we cannot risk that. So I will present the polls to you. The post-convention situation is looking better for Hillary Clinton, but this is by no means a foregone conclusion.